Coming up on today's show, could Russell Wilson be headed to Viva Las Vegas? What about Bill Belichick and Kirk Cousins pairing up in Washington with the Commanders? And Jaire Alexander, has he played his last game for the Green Bay Packers? We will dive into all of that and more coming up on this edition of NFL Daily. Before we do, if you want your team to win the Super Bowl, like today's video, don't jinx it. Now, you may be saying, Tyler, there's only 4 teams left. I don't root for any of those 4 teams. Well, if you want your team to win the Super Bowl next year, like the video and don't jinx it. Do your part. Don't be the reason why your team doesn't win at all. Like the video and we'll get started with today's show. Russell Wilson, according to reports a while back, will not return to the Denver Broncos next season. And he's got plenty of options out there, especially when you consider the contract situation that he could play for the minimum somewhere and then force the Broncos to pay all his money at his next location. And one idea that's being suggested by ESPN is him staying within the division in the AFC West and going to the arch rival Las Vegas Raiders. Listen to this, what an anonymous source told ESPN about Russ in Vegas. The Raiders need a vet, and they are one of Wilson's original teams he wanted to go to. He'd stay in the AFC West, West Coast, and Russell Wilson's wife, Ciara, could do a Las Vegas residency as a live performer. Now you have me intrigued. I might be going to Vegas now to see a Ciara residency here, folks. That you got me sold. Forget the Raiders. I want to go see Ciara. Now, think about this, too. If you're the Las Vegas Raiders, you're in an interesting predicament. You hired Antonio Pierce largely in part, to keep your players happy, like Devontae Adams and Max Crosby, in particular Max Crosby. And now you have to start thinking, okay, do you guys want to do this? Do you want Russ in this locker room? Do you want a veteran quarterback rather than resetting and starting over with a rookie quarterback? Because essentially these guys control this team. And the direction it goes is Crosby and Adams. They might be the most powerful players in the NFL with as much control they have on this Raiders team. If that's what these guys want, then it might be the right move. Russell Wilson, last year, had a solid year, despite what people say. Russell Wilson still threw for 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, much improved, even with not playing the last couple of games when he got benched. He still had the most touchdowns he's had since the 2020 season. Sure, the arm strength isn't what it used to be for Russell Wilson, but he showed that he could take a step in the right direction. And with that team-friendly contract that he could sign for somebody, Russell Wilson all of a sudden looks intriguing. You got more money you can spend elsewhere that way. Las Vegas? That might be a pretty interesting idea. What do you guys think? Should the Raiders sign Russell Wilson? It's our pinned comment today. Y for yes, N for no. Way in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Gametime. Gametime, the best place to go for last-minute tickets for the best seats and the lowest prices, guaranteed. Here's how it works. You choose the event you want to go to, whether it's a sporting event, concert, theater production, comedy show, and more. And they got the event listed. You then choose the seat you want, and you're checking out within just a matter of moments on Gametime. You can use Apple Pay, Google Pay. Very simple and easy to use, and you can get $20 off your first purchase when you use the promo code NFL Chat. But that's not all, folks. If you're planning to go to the big game, and because this is an advertisement, I can't say what that big game is, but you know what I'm talking about. The one that's coming up in 2 weeks in Las Vegas. If you want to go to that big game, you can save $100 when you use the promo code Vegas100. But wait, there's more. What if you're a first-time user of Gametime and you decide to go to the big game in Las Vegas? You can do so with using both promo codes, NFL Chat to save the 20 and Vegas 100 to save $100. So then you're saving $120 on your big game ticket. So download Gametime today. Terms and conditions do apply. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. Gametime, proud partner of NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Sign up today. Start saving on tickets for the big game. Wink, wink. All right, Bill Belichick, where is he going to go? It won't be the Atlanta Falcons now that they've hired Raheem Morris, and that's a whole nother story that just doesn't make sense. You went from thinking you were going to hire the greatest coach of all time to a coach that failed in 2 stints as a head coach. An interim right there in Atlanta, and then in Tampa Bay. He's a good coordinator, but whatever. They passed on Belichick, and now there is a rumor out there from an NFL insider for Odds Checker about the idea of pairing Belichick with Kirk Cousins. Now, the idea he thought of was with the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but there's another possibility here. I'll explain. I'll start with this idea. What happens when Belichick accepts the head coaching position in Atlanta? That didn't happen. The Falcons go after Kirk Cousins to throw passes to Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. Okay, so that didn't happen. But wait, here's an idea, folks. What about a certain team in the nation's capital that is trying to make a splash? Bill Belichick? Oh, and they need a quarterback. And Belichick is probably not going to go with a young quarterback because, he's older than my grandparents. So, with that said, a veteran and Belichick together. Oh, and there's a certain veteran that used to play for that franchise. Could we see Belichick and Kirk Cousins pair up in Washington? It's not going to be in Seattle, I can tell you that much. Check this out. Belichick, we know the resume. It's incredible. Former head coach with the Patriots and with the Browns, 6-time Super Bowl champion. We know how good Belichick is, right? And then you put in Kirk Cousins, who, coming off an injury, he could cost a significant amount, but if you are the Washington Commanders, you have money to spend. And I know some of you were saying, well, Cousins had a bad experience in Washington. They treated him like crap and everything. And all that's true. But this is a different ownership group, different front office. Hell, they even have a different name than when Kirk Cousins last played for them. This might be a home run idea, potentially. What do you think? What are the chances of Belichick and Cousins ending up in Washington together? Scale it for me in the comments section, 1 through 10. The possibility of Belichick and Cousins going to the nation's capital. For the latest happenings across the National Football League, subscribe now to NFL Daily by Chat Sports as we bring you daily coverage of the NFL. It's like it's in our name or something. We are live for every single playoff game on the channel, as well as we'll be bringing you both the AFC and NFC championship games coming up this Sunday. And then we got the big game in a couple weeks after that as well. So go ahead and subscribe now. Join the family. Be a part of what we're doing here on the NFL Daily. For the latest happenings across the National Football League, we got you covered. Subscribe now. All right, one more thing before we go. Jaire Alexander. Could he have played his last game with the Green Bay Packers? He posted a cryptic message. That's what the kids call it. On the gram, the IG, about his future with the Green Bay Packers, and said the following. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lambeau, for 6 years. Thank you to those who showed me love throughout my journey. Okay, now that sounds like he's saying goodbye, expecting to be moved, right? Now, he had that whole coin flip debacle, and that cost him to get suspended, and he just looked like a complete dumbass, right? Personally, if a guy can't take care of a coin toss, I don't want to put a ton of trust and faith in Jaire Alexander, personally speaking. Plus, the money he commands, he's not cheap either. Now, he is one of the best at his position. He's been to multiple Pro Bowls already. Coming off a down year, but he is just a year removed from having 5 picks in 2022, along with 14 pass breakups. No one's questioning if Jaire is a good player or not. He's just expensive and a little bit of a knucklehead. That's all. Now, where could he end up? 3 possible destinations come to mind right away for Jaire Alexander. One is the Kansas City Chiefs. We know what they have in Trent McDuffie, but if you pair him up and Alexander together, that could be very interesting. The Jags, they're a team that their identity is supposed to be on their defense. Defense wasn't what it was lived up to be this year. And then the Houston Texans. Houston is ascending. Won 10 games. Add him to that secondary. Now you might be cooking with bacon grease there in Houston. Where will Jaire Alexander play next season? Weigh in the comment section and tell me where you think he ultimately is going to end up. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of NFL Daily. Like the video if you enjoyed today's show. Even if you hated today's show, you made it to the end of the video, might as well like it. We'll see you next time here on the channel.